Lexi, and right about now, you might be wondering why I'm sitting in a bunch of bushes. Well, these aren't bushes. These are trees. And today, I'm going to be teaching you about trees. But not just any trees. The Populus genus. To start us off, let's talk about a few interesting facts that I bet you didn't know. First of all, the name Populus comes from the fact that in Roman times, poplar trees used to be planted in public meeting sites. Fact 2. Poplar trees have very soft bark. Because of this, they are used to make cardboard box, paper, and much more. This is not a poplar tree. Its bark is firm and rough. Anyone know what tree this is? If you guessed Douglas fir, you would be correct. Some more important facts about poplar trees is that there are 25 to 30 species in the genus, and they can grow up to 15 to 50 meters tall. This is also a very genetically diverse genus. Now you may be wondering, are there species that are similar to the Populus genus? Yes. There are. I was wondering that too, so I looked it up, and it turns out the Betula and the Alnus genus are very similar. You know why? Because all three genuses are deciduous trees, and they all grow catkins. So the differences between the Betula genus and the Populus genus are the bark, the height, the leaves, and the catkins. The Betula genus has bark that peels and has more details. It can also be either white, gray, yellow, or silver, whereas the Populus genus has smooth bark that does not peel at all, and it's usually only white or gray. The leaves of the Betula genus are normally wider, whereas the Populus leaves are more narrow. Lastly, Betula trees have both male and female catkins on the same plant. Here is an example of the catkins on a birch tree, part of the Betula genus. As you can tell, if you look very closely, there's male and female catkins, and they're on the same branch. Whereas Populus trees either produce male or female flowers, but they can't both be on the same plant. Alnus or alder trees, such as the Sitka alder and the red alder, possess many similar characteristics, but there are a few key features that distinguish these two genuses from each other. First of all, alders can grow in shade, where poplar trees are very shade intolerant, meaning they only like to grow in the sun. The next difference is the catkins. Like the Betula genus, the trees of the Alnus genus produce both male and female catkins on the same plant. Here we have the catkins on an alder tree. The ones that are almost cone-like are the female ones, and the ones that hang down long are the male ones. That's how you can tell that they're from an alder tree, is because they're both on the same branch, whereas on a poplar tree, they would be on separate branches. Here's an example of the catkins found on a poplar tree. As you can see, there's only the male catkins present on that one branch, and there isn't female ones as well. Another interesting fact is that there is a large amount of the Populus genus in Europe and Asia and Northern Africa. As you can see from this map, the majority of the genus is located in the northern hemisphere. But I'm only going to be educating you about the ones found in our region. The two most common trees of the Populus genus that are found in western BC are the trembling aspen the Populus tremuloid, and the black cottonwood, Populus balsamifera. Trembling aspens grow in moist to dry ravines, depressions, meadows, ridges, upland forests, and occasionally on floodplains, whereas the black cottonwood are found in moist upland areas and floodplains and in montane zones. They grow in low to mid elevation and can be found along floodplains and rivers. These two trees both grow in moist areas and are shade intolerant, meaning they like to grow in the sun. Trembling aspen indicate dry to fresh and medium rich soils, whereas the black cottonwood indicates fresh to moist soils and rich soil nutrients. The leaves of trembling aspen are alternating, egg or kidney shaped, with rounded or heart-shaped bases and smooth buds. Black cottonwood leaves look very similar. They're also alternating, thick oval shaped, and they also have round, heart-shaped bases. They're also finely toothed. With all these similarities, you may think it would be hard to distinguish between the two trees, but this is not the case. There is one main difference: the bark on mature trees. Here's a photo of a younger black cottonwood tree. As you can see, its bark is very smooth. Next is a photo of the trembling aspen bark. As you can see, the two trees have very similar bark, making it extremely difficult to distinguish the difference between the two when they're young. This is the bark of a mature black cottonwood. As you can see, it has vertical grooves running down the tree. These are called furrows. This is the bark of a mature trembling aspen. The furrows form very different shapes than those of the black cottonwood. They make these almost triangular shapes, and the furrows don't run all the way down the tree vertically, as do the ones of the black cottonwood. Another difference is that the trembling aspen has grayish-green bark when young, and the black cottonwood bark is pale green to white. To finish off my presentation, here are a few more fun facts about the Populus genus. Poplar trees are evidently a source of food for many animals who snack on their foliage. But did you know that poplar trees are also a tasty snack for humans? The starchy sap layer just underneath the outer bark can be eaten both raw and cooked. Poplar trees are also very commonly cultivated because they grow quickly and easily. Another thing that I found very interesting is because of the elasticity of poplar trees, they're very commonly used to make snowboards, as well as musical instruments such as guitars and drums. Poplar trees also, most of the time, don't live past 50 years. The last interesting fact I have for you guys might just be the coolest. A famous painting, the Mona Lisa, was painted on a surface made from poplar trees. Bet you didn't know that. Thanks for listening to my presentation about the Populus genus. I hope you learned a thing or two, and if you didn't, then you probably weren't listening, so that's on you. Here are the 4 sources that I used. I also used the Plants of Coastal British Columbia book and the Red Book.